Hello, everyone. Before I get to the part where I fucking swear and scream and all that shit, and a few theories and lore, yeah, the white pumpkin process is actually doing good. I finished up making the face, the eyes, and the mouth. The other part is I just have to paint it, and then find a way to make the mask move like my head is. Because let's be honest, the mask is not the white pumpkin mask is not going to work just with a box, basically. Yeah, I'll figure that out. But right now, though, let's get to the fucking part where I'm actually pissed. So let's actually do that. You know, the amazing Digital Circus episode just dropped out today at 3 p.m. Yes, I watched it. It was good. The beach episode, all that shit. But a fucking NPC, well, Pomni thought, but she thought it was a human, but let's get to the part where I say this. Yeah, we saw Jax looking like a fucking sad, depressing homeboy, and then we saw like two hands coming to him. Then we saw some weird, questionable shit. But then he broke out. But he looks like he's slowly getting abstracted. So the possibility is he is getting abstracted. And for some reason, he's fucking, well, fine. Well, not fine, but meh. What else? Oh, yes. Pomni, Rekatha, and the NPC talked to him about fucking few things, yes. And they were thinking about explaining a few shit about the NPC explained that it was a programmer. Yeah, here's the thing. No one will remember shit in the Amazing Digital Circus because they would forget instantly. But for some reason, this guy remembers everything so far. That's kind of suspicious, isn't it? It turns out, well, actually, I'm not saying turns out because that'll be spoiling it. So, yeah. But Jax is complaining that it could be all a trick of an adventure or some shit. But the NPC convinced that they were... What was it? I almost forgot. Oh, they made a plan to get into Kane's office to escape. And the fun fact about their reality is like kind of weird. So the NPC rolled them up as balls and threw them like hoops. But the thing was, the NPC had a drawn face to make sure it was different. And what else? It also said, make the right choice. Yeah. Then they go into Kane's office, all that shit. And the key, they got it from Kinger's mouth. From Kane's mouth. Yeah. That's how they got that. So I'm not going to explain anymore. I am going to explain more, so shut the fuck up. And, what else? Oh yeah, they entered into Kane's office, which they show us a bunch of orbs. Yeah, a bunch of orbs to, looks like had a few, well, previous adventures, some are similar, but Jax looked at one that is familiar to him. Yeah, he looks like fucking traumatized by that. Then they all started to go. Well, the door case was a secret entrance, I guess. They went through the hallways, and Zubul and Gangle. They had a few conversations if they would remember this or not. And once they enter in, they showed a big monitor with two buttons. One red, one blue. One to stay here forever, one to leave. And Pomni was starting to question it as in asking Kinger of all people. They had arguments until we saw fucking Jax had some visions of his past so far. Yeah, that was interesting. And then Jax pressed the blue button, which they all thought they were screwed, but shows that it was all a fucking adventure, by the way. Yeah, fucking a spoiler. A fucking classic indeed. And, well, yeah, Kane says Jax was I don't know who said it, but if you saw the video of who said it, yeah. Besides that, they all got pranked, and yeah, and Kane started acting nervous and all that shit, and then this is the part where I say, this is some bullshit I'm seeing right fucking here. Look at this. Look, do you see this? Do you see this in my palm? Yeah, it's nothing, because this is complete bullshit. Sorry I did that. It's just sometimes I like to show my expression some other way, but whatever. Look, I had a few theories, just a few, and I would think that the pod they're trapped inside is actually true and real. Because think about this. It kind of makes sense of how they ended up here. Also, I saw a few videos past then of the Amazing Doodle Circus stuff of them getting tied up and having a VR headset stuck in their face. That's not realistic. But if I think about this, logically, it makes sense that they're trapped in a pod that they can't escape. And the company thing also kind of makes sense. Because think about this. If a company exists, that means they have to be making something and some bad shit happens, and yeah, that makes more sense. But think about this. The people we know so far, the characters, what if they're people like got either applied to the job or were taken? That's a few theories in my head so far. Yeah. We saw Kinger having like a butterfly thing, which he made up. And you think about this. Kinger could be a programmer. Coder, whatever. It kind of makes sense for that. I mean, it kind of does naturally. But so far, it doesn't make sense. There is a few holes. And we have new lore about Jax, which that's fucking interesting. But the interesting part is the NPC we saw about the lore and shit, it was a fucking ruse. Yeah, that NPC is a fucking part of fucking Kane's shit. Yeah, I'm not fucking happy. I'm quite pissed. Yeah, I am not happy about that. But look, if you guys have some good guesses or want to complain about it, comment that below. Don't hesitate. Go ahead. I don't give a shit. What else? Oh, yeah. I'll show the new poll of whatever I'm going to make next. The two things I'm going to actually originally working on is either Hack Lord or the commander block from, well, you know, admin, Romo, whatever. He's from Minecraft story mode. Yeah. And then two new ones. Don't ask. But look. I know you guys would probably wonder, Max, why? Why are you mad? It's just a video. Yeah, to me, it's not. Yeah, it's not. So if you want to go there, go ahead. But if you try to fucking say anything else, I will find where you live and show you the fucking lore I learned in my past fucking life. So, yeah. Have fun with that. Good fucking bye.